second semi-final of the day here in the ESL Open Cup Korea. As in the bottom left-hand side, we start with the Red Terran from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. This is Cure. Taking on the Blue Zerg in the top right-hand side from the Afrika Freaks, we do have soO. So first map of this best of 5 as we get this underway. Hatchery will drop down on the natural expansion and the Overlord of soO moving out across to the left-hand side. Obviously, you've got to think from the start here where these Overlords go, and kind of tells you a bit about what the players are thinking. Because right from the very get-go, this is a question of, oh my god, you know, are you proxy raxing me? Is soO afraid of proxy racks? Those sort of questions. And he is. He's moving his Overlords in directions to really check for proxies. A little surprised this one doesn't go a bit more over here then, but yeah, this one definitely is just checking all the way around this right side as well. Cure is not doing anything like that though. It's just going to go for the Reaper expansion as the other, as being basically the other opening in TVZ for the first minute and a half. So no surprises there. And will SCV scout as well. He wants to see if this is a pool first or not, because then it obviously gives him a lot of information. If it's a pool first, then he knows maybe keep the Reaper at home, maybe there's some more aggression coming his way, and some stuff like this. So this is best of 5, obviously hoping it's going to be a great series, and hopefully if it is, we'll get this one up on the YouTube channel. So hello if you're watching on YouTube. As always, a bit of a spoiler, because if you if you're watching this, it was a good series, good enough to upload. So hello, do consider liking the video, of course, to support, and of course don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube as well, as we continue to push that subscriber count up. Rolling towards our next big goal is really 25k, which we're 2,500 from at the time of casting. So yeah, helps out with that, helps us out a bunch, and I really do appreciate you guys being so supportive. We are live here on Twitch as well, and we obviously have this Reaper arriving, so the first real point of interest of the game as we see the Lings and the Reaper will do their dance. And so far, Cure just trading out HP on the Lings, trying to weaken those up and maybe give himself the chance to potentially delay a Creep Tumor on the front of the Natural. If you can delay the Creep Tumor, that's always a very good start. You can see the Queen is going to decide to inject, so will not go for the Creep Tumor. So we'll actually not give Cure the chance, as Cure does go for a third CC and the main base as well. Let's get that third CC getting up. As the factory lifts off, going to go to the reactor. Rax is going to move to the side. Starport will begin. I'm just going to be seeing the Queen able to put some damage out onto the Reaper, as it still stays at the front, still looking for opportunities. As the Reaper going to be coming through. Going to jump back onto the watchtower then, and just going to keep the map controller soO. His own third hatch coming up. So yeah, third CC going to be finishing in a few moments. That gives Cure that big economy to play with on Eternal Empire. Now, this big economy comes with some risk, and that's where the Starport and Tech Lab, Banshee early here, will just keep you very safe from that. Might just be the Cloakless Banshee as well. Doesn't necessarily need Cloak if it's just for keeping you safe. And a Cloakless Banshee can still often find a couple of workers, and then of course you save a lot of money on the fact you don't have to build up into Cloak, right? So you save a lot of money there. But he is going to go Cloak, so it's just going to be Cloak Banshee in the end, just the Cloak was a bit delayed. And that works just fine as well. And as we do have the couple of Hellions back up around to the top side. Just going to be seeing them relocating a little bit as the Reaper sits out on the Watchtower as well. And again, a couple of Queens just continuing in production with the Bane Nest now down. Lair already on the way, so it is that faster Lair. We're expecting to see a lot of Ling Bane Muta in this series from soO, and off the fact, off of a faster Lair and a faster Spire and Bane speed early. That is the TVZ meta right now. That is how people play ZvT. That's how things go basically. As we do see the Cloak about halfway done, and the few Lings coming forward. Well, these couple of units able to pick off one of those Zerglings already as the Stim Pack still setting up in the main base, and the extra couple of racks will drop down. The Reaper and the 2 Hellions will go up to the top side, and a couple of Queens there in an instant, already pushing that Reaper away for a bit of damage. As the Bane Nest completes, there goes the Spire from soO in the natural expansion, and again the 2 Hellions and the Reaper back away down the left-hand side as our Hellions join up on the third base. I'm just going to be seeing them continue to move around, continue to come out over to the far right. Again, just seeing our Stim Pack continuing up as Engineering Bays and Racks all continuing to build. So just having Cure just out on the upper right. Banshee will be moving along. Again, the other Hellion setting up as our Spire comes up into play. Baneling speed gets started on this Bane nest as well, so getting that Bane speed up and running. With the Hellions coming through to pick off a Creep Tumor, they'll take the Watchtower and hold out there for a few moments. We'll see the 4th base of soO is already on the way out. Of course, no real reason to delay that 4th base. It's going to be a nice macro-focused game. Obviously, getting plenty of creep up. Yeah, Combat 2 Banshees, they've been very passive until now as they move on in. I'm just going to be seeing a few drones already dropping here. So 3, 4, 5 workers. Make that 6. And he actually turns back around. One of these drones came to the edge mineral patch as it spawned, and that means it was just in the location the Banshees wanted to be in. These Banshees are actually going to fight this Queen for a moment or two, but then we'll just target down drones, and Cure picks up a mega amount of damage. It's a lot of drones going down. That's 15 workers killed, which is obviously a ton of damage done in the early stages here. The Banshee going for a few extra drones. 18 workers, 19 workers. Yep, he's just going to keep going. There's no Spore Crawler here. Oh my god, one Banshee is just killing soO right now. I mean, it was 2 Banshees, but now it's 1. Overseer cannot spawn quick enough. He's going to get one final kill. 25 is the number of drones lost in this game. And that is a major amount of damage done. I mean, that's just mega damage as the creep spread pushing out. The Mutalisks will be heading down into the center. They will intercept that Reaper, so Reaper will fall. Marines, Tank, Hellions, all of this joining up on the Watchtower and setting up together. I was going to see 1-1 upgrades on either side of the map. The combat shields from Cure going into play as well. Just getting that combat shield started up as our command center, the 4th base here. Also building, getting ready to go. Hellions morph into Hellbats. Marines, Tanks, and Hellbats will push up to the top right-hand side. Stims already. Going to be seeing the Lings and the Banes. Kind of thinking that they may be wanting to move forward there as well. A few more Creep Tumors continue to drop as our Hellbats continue on forward. The Hellbats will split up a little bit. One of the tanks will unsiege and come forward as well. Hellbats still spread out quite nicely for the moment as we do have a few Marines that's going to stim. Try and bump some pressure. Obviously, it's going to be really tough for soO. You lose that many workers to the Banshees, and you're always just going to be at a lack of units to help deal with this. Now, he is counter-attacking. Oh, that already setting up a big flank, but you don't usually need to go this far around. Usually, you can just go here and have a very similar effect. Let's see how we go as we see the Banes are going to roll in. The Tank's not really targeting the Banes. As the Lings and the Mutas run in, they're just reaching Marines and nothing else. And it's a very one-sided affair because, well, there's just, I mean, Lings and Mutas just weren't supported by the Banes, really, right? Like, the Banes just, they weren't in good enough numbers. It's as simple as that. It's a numbers game. You lose 25 drones, you don't have the numbers to play on. I mean, a lot of transfusions try and keep this base alive. He needs these Banelings connect on these Marines, but the tanks are going to clean up a lot of them. Then you're off creep, cleaning out the rest. And now even if the siege tanks go down, look at the reinforcement Marines that show up. This 4th base will drop. And Cure will stim his way through to a game 1 victory. Overlord's going down. All of these Creep Tumors going down. He goes up to this high ground. Another Overlord. The rest of these Banes being picked away. And Muta's going down very quickly. All of these Banes get picked up. And that's GG. Cure will take game number 1 of this best of 5 series. Just like that. He's able to pick up the first map and take the lead. Starting us off in the top right-hand side will be the Red Terran who leads the series 1-0. This is Cure. And in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Zerg from the Afrika Freaks is soO. To get this set up and started, we'll see the Overlord moving out into the top side, into the center. Another Overlord moving out as well. Andrew goes down on the natural expansion to start us off here on this one. Thatcher on the natural. Overlord moving up from soO, as we're just going to be seeing the pool, the gas, all of this setting up. And just going to be seeing the Overlord continue to go into the upper right-hand side. Command Center getting going on the natural. Getting this underway, and obviously really just waiting for the build-up here, guys, on Everdream. Waiting to see exactly what will happen. Man, soO was looking so good like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago as well. And obviously just GSL was not what I expected of him, and then, you know, now... I mean, I don't want to base this off one game. He has made it to the semi-finals here, but... the first game left a lot to be desired. Now, obviously, it's one of those things, maybe the Banshees just get started and they keep on doing too much, but let's see what happens here now as this Reaper goes down to the bottom left-hand side. Into the natural is going to see a couple of links coming through. Drones there as well. This is just going to be seeing the bit of damage being done. Nothing too crazy as the factory sets up from Kira in the main base. There's the third CC against just one gas in it again. I mean, hey, it worked out so well last game. Why not try it again? Of course, Everdream is a little bit of a tougher map for that longer macro-y game. There's definitely some more potential for some earlier attacks here on Everdream, but Kira doesn't seem to be worried about it. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he just opened up in a, you know, kind of a very similar starter before. Get that Banshee out, keep himself safe. Stuff like that. As we get set up here. As Reaper comes in, Cryptoma takes a few shots of damage. The hatchery on the third base, and the starport about halfway along. Again, there is the third ZT. Going to be done in just a few moments' time. As our Marine going to patrol out down the bottom, Overlord in the top. Link speed continues out from soO. As the Marine pushes this Overlord back. So again, there goes the Banshee again. That started as the third will morph in. So I imagine this is just going to be Cloak again. Give you that safety, give you that pressure as we saw across the map as well. So you're going to see the Reaper and the two Hellions obviously keeping some pressure up now. No lair this time from soO. So he didn't go into the fast lair and looking for the faster Spire. This time he's going to go for the faster upgrade. So this time he kind of give up that what's been kind of popular, fast Mutalisks, to instead get fast upgrades, and that will be his advantage here. It does mean he'll also be without Baneling speed at the point of the first kind of real kind of bio push coming forward. So you kind of get to this point where you kind of got an upgrade lead, and that gives you some better fights at times. But again, lacking that Bane speed is a bit scary. You obviously lack the control the Mutalisks give you as well. So you will go into a ton of drones though, of course, and he's going to get into a very strong economy very quick. I mean, big thing as well here is no lair means no Overseer, so you are completely reliant on Spore Crawlers for your detection. And right now, soO has zero idea that this is Banshees, so he's playing really greedily by not going into these spores. And Cloak's going to be done in like 8 seconds, so I hate to say, I mean, there's the first spore starting in the main base now. He might just about have spores in time because he's not going to hit when Cloak finishes Cure. He's going to wait for Banshee number 2. The way his build works out is these Banshees aren't both ready together when Cloak is done. So that's the negative of kind of starting up Cloak a little bit later like he's been doing. So maybe that gives soO, I mean, now he's going to have the spore up. Still depends where the queens are, right? There's only one queen on this third base. Should be able to minimize the damage compared. I mean, 25 drones is just ridiculous, so you should be able to minimize to some extent. As one drone goes down, the drones get back to mining very quickly here, and they'll jump in for another. And yeah, the Banshees aren't visible in this location, right? Again, the spores only give you so much vision. Lair is done now, so the Overseer is on the way. Full work is lost. Actually, nice couple of shots with the spore, bringing that Banshee health a little bit lower. Here, we'll probably poke into the main and try and get 2 or 3 more drones still. Gets 3, could have had 5 by now. He could have had 1 more because he misstargeted. Wow, he's just going to give the Banshees up. Very interesting choice, saying, okay, I don't care about these Banshees, you know what, take them. So that is 10 workers killed, but soO is still ahead on workers, and yes, Kyo's army supply is quite large here, but you also lose those Banshees. You don't have to worry about those anymore, which is a big positive from soO. And now Kyo is obviously waiting for the 1-1 combat shields, and that's going to be his first real push, there or thereabouts. If not pushing when that's finishing, pushing a bit before, and then really designing this push to be attacking and hitting as those upgrades complete. soO good creep spread in front of his bases though, right? There's at least a couple creep teamers in front of every base apart from the 4th, but the 4th doesn't really, maybe up here, but then you still got creep here. If you attack from up here, then I'm impressed that the Terran player got there, right? It just wastes so much time to loop around. So this push is going to start clearing creep and not much else. Ideally, soO doesn't fight for another 20 seconds. As the Marines and the Hellions out down the bottom side, a couple creep tumors going down is just going to be seeing the rest of this pulling away. The Lings and the Banes all setting up. Did you see the siege tank firing, picking off a creep tumor, and the Hellions able to take down a Ling already. This is a really nice position for Kira. You do not want to run through there as the tank gets sieged. And still pushing through Lings and Banes. I wanted to get through there. The Queen's setting up. The rest of the Banes coming in. Just going to be picking off the Hellbats already. Run straight into this. The Banes coming through, and they got some good connections. A lot of the tanks going down. I think soO's cleaned up enough. He won't push this back entirely. Let's see a few more. Creep tumors continue to drop here. A few extra Banes morphing still. Is just going to see our 2-2 about halfway done. And setting up a lot more Lings on the left-hand side. A lot of Marines coming out through the top of this here as our Lings go around the right. Queen's pushing in. Queens are going to get picked away at. First Queen down. The rest of the Banes maybe wanting to move through. Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, right? Because you're in a position where you kind of had enough to clean up, but then it's kind of a weird one because, like, this army doesn't mean much to sat here off creep, but it does stop the creep getting forward. So while you don't need to clean it up, it would still be nice for it to be gone. I mean, 2-2 is done now. If there was a time to jump on it, it would be in this moment where you have the upgrade lead before reinforcements get across. See with the mutas, which have been fairly inactive, obviously just kind of joining the fight and not going across the map. Gonna see the rest of this setting up on the left side. There we go. Gonna run it now. Kind of all from one direction. Doesn't matter too much when there's only one tank and only one part of splash damage, right? Usually that's the whole idea of the flanks. I mean, it's nice if you can stop the Marines running from somewhere, but for what soO wanted to do, which is basically make space to get his creep out of here again, this was fine. He's going to go and jump on this before the units are sieged up. Widow Mines, though. Oh my! Whoa. 42 kills! And that's just on one of them. The other has 17. Oh my god. 42 kill Widow Mine. That was absolutely... wow. Well... I mean, what do you even say about that? It's a lot of damage done as the mutas flying in. Pick off a Widow Mine here. A few Marines stemming through the rest of the bio from Cure into the center of the map. Lings, Banes, mutas are maybe wanting to push forward. Couple of Banes coming through here. A couple of Marines going down. The rest of the Ling Bane out the left side. And the tank shots dropping as well as Lings and Banes continue to produce. The mutas get here, picking off another Marine. Just seeing Kyo's army stuck out in the center. Trying to press forwards. Here we go. There's not a lot of creep for soO to work with, but he actually gets the big advantage of the creep just to the edge of this army. Doesn't want to push up the ramp, but he is still holding this off. 3-3 upgrades have started now. It's already getting the 3-3 upgrades here. The +2 vehicle plating on the armory as well. Kua will back away. soO pulls back up to the top side of this. A couple of extra racks on the way in. Factory from Kua out into the center as our mutas will fly forward. Just going to be seeing the missile turret going down. 7 SCVs picked off. And these depots will continue to drop here on this side. So there's a lot of depots being taken down. And as the Marines come forward, Kua will get supply blocked by Army. Still in the front. Here we go. Mutas are going to fly into this as we see soO engaging. Well, he cleans up on the top side pretty easily. It's the right side where you're off creep though, and there is still the Banes to keep going through and chasing this. Mutas will go in for the Thor. The Medivacs do not have a lift on that Thor, but there is Marines remaining. In the end, Kua will continue to push this away. So Kua pushes that back once again, as we're just going to be seeing our Army back once more. Ultraless Cavern on the way down from soO. The big thing for soO is he's held on until Hive Tech, right? So holding on until Hive is massive for him, because now he's able to get into the Ultraless Cavern. Now he's able to get into 3-3 upgrades and Adrenal Glands. And while soO might lose this top left base, he does have bases elsewhere. He's actually just going to jump on this again. Always just fighting as soon as the Terran gets onto the edge of the creep spread and not any sooner. And I like it. It's going to be another good cleanup. And again, soO, he's doing the right things, just cleaning up, trading out a little bit. Really just mostly waiting for those Ultras to get here and his Hive Tech to kick in. But honestly, he doesn't maybe taking a too bad of a fight now. soO has the numbers to keep on pushing forwards. Marines and Medivacs being chased away. The Thor firing, taking down some of these mutas, but that's basically the only unit that's really here that's going to deal with these. There's not even Marines around at the moment. Oh, Widow Mines will get burrowed up though, but they don't really do enough either, and the Banes do connect to clean up the Widow Mines as well. Here comes some extra Marines, and that might push this back, but now soO is hitting Ultras with a huge eco lead. You know, this base basically denied from mining. Okay, only 7 SCVs lost, but it's a lot of lost mine time. It takes a lot of the sting out of the Terran pushes, because now Kua really has to build up for a few moments before he can get another push going. So soO has the time to set up himself, although he doesn't really go for this. He has upgrades already on the way, but that's going to be it. He doesn't go for anything additional to that, as Slings, mutas continue to fly in. Marines continue to kite back to the right-hand side. And Widow Mine doesn't quite connect, as we do have Widow Mines burrowing up elsewhere. 15 SCVs down. I mean, a couple of Widow Mine shots were okay, but again, it's too far gone, and Kua, despite those massive Widow Mine shots in the middle of the map, he's not going to win this game out. This is going to be too much from soO as he runs on in, cleans up house. I got to give credit where it's due. soO put a lot of, he brought out a lot of really good fights here. A lot of really good fights at the right times. GG's. Bottom right-hand side. Big Widow Mine shots weren't enough to save him. Our red Terran. It is Kua. And the top left, our blue Zerg from the Freak of Freaks is soO. Couple quick shoutouts just as this game starts up. Thank you so much, Guy2 007 for the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much. Mr. Tate for the 1,000 bits. Thank you so much for the generosity and the $10. And Nick Pote for the Twitch Prime as well. Thank you very much indeed. And Gedarix for the 5-month resub on the Twitch Prime. Thank you everybody for all the support as we just get this one started on Submarine. So this is a short map, but I feel like a lot of Zergs feel like they like this map. Short, but a lot of counterattack potential. Lots of pathways to use, lots of runaround positions. It can feel, but it is scary when that Terran army moves out and then it feels like they're instantly on top of your base already, right? So, yeah, in general, it seems like Zergs have enjoyed this a little bit, but I'm still not completely convinced as to who likes this one more at the moment. Overlord into the middle of the map. Extractor going to be finishing as our hatch gas and pool gets started up here. Let's see if we're going to go down to the natural as the orbital command morphing into the main base. Excuse me. So yeah, just going to expand here, and obviously we'll see where Kua takes this. I mean, this is not really a 3cc map because the roaches would just hit way too quickly, right? That's the biggest issue here. So this is definitely going to be a double gas from... I'd be surprised and shocked if it was not a double gas. So factor into second gas would be my prediction. For submarine at the very least. Queens in the main and the natural. A few extra lings on the way. Factory will build. Where do you see this SCV of Cure back down to the bottom right side? The Reaper makes its way across. Am I going to be right? In the second guess, I shall be. I mean, it's also 3CC 2 games in a row, right? So it's definitely also not a bad time just to switch it up anyway. So double gas generally gives you a faster starport. Now, you can still go 3CC off a double gas. A lot of it kind of depends on what sort of time you go, you know, you make it for. So green gets here, pushes this Reaper away. Reaper taking a few extra hits, the extra drones on the way out, and we do see again the factory is about to finish up with a CC finishing on the natural. Our Overlord of soO will make its way into the main. In just a few moments time, starboard dropping down and just seeing the racks moving to the side, and again a couple of Hellions already building up. Tech lab on the racks, just going to be seeing the Reaper around the back. Looking around here, drops a grenade, and grenade doesn't do too much as the Reaper continues out the left-hand side. Then there's a hatchery on the third base. Again, that third hatch started up here as well, and yeah, the Reaper just from Cure hanging around between the bases as the Reaper. A couple of Hellions coming across. They're going to move up to this top side. It's going to be Cloak Banshees again. So Cure really does just feel, you know, Cloak Banshees are doing good for him. He feels like they're keeping him safe. Feels like they're dealing some good damage, which they absolutely are. Definitely not... Well, definitely true. Another grenade. Pops a couple of queens up. And of course, just some light pressure here. Really just looking to try and catch creep tumors if at all possible. Obviously, that's the ideal. If you get this creep tumor here before it goes up, boom, 25 energy of these queens are wasted. It's actually a really nice catch as well, right? It's going to slow down any creep from getting further forward for just a little bit. Now really hunting for this drone. And we'll find it as well. Good movement from the Hellions of Cure and really able to pick a lot up from this so far. Making a good effort from that as we see the Bane Nest on the front of the natural, and still these Hellions just looking to see where else they can go. Cloak is going to be finishing on the starport. Again, the few Hellions looking around to see what they can get up to next. Racks are building. I mean, we're really, I guess we're going to wait for this Cloak to, or the two Banshees to join up together again. That's how Cure seems to like to use these Banshees. Doesn't like to go in just with the one. Doesn't feel like the damage he takes on it is worthwhile. Versus just waiting for two. I say that as he starts to fly in with the one. He'll get like a drone here, but I imagine he'll just back away. And again, very minimal amounts of damage. Yeah, mostly still is just waiting for the two Banshees together, right? And getting that one-shot potential on drones, making the most of that. Queen's able to block the Hellions from the front, and there's that Baneling speed already starting as well. So also getting this Bane speed underway as the 1-1 upgrades continue through. Still an Overlord out down the bottom side. This rack's going to move over to the reactor. We do have a bunch of these drones continue to drop, so that's 3 workers killed, 4, 5. So able to get a lot of these workers killed off at the moment. As we'll see a couple of extra drones. Wow, still only 6 though, because actually this, you know, the Banshees didn't have the target fire. Now he's going to get 10 and gain. So this is basically the exact same as what happened in the last map. See, I feel like 10 drones is good, don't get me wrong, but then you're on 10 drone kills with the Banshees dead and not doing anything else. So it's like, okay, yes, you got 10 drones, but that's it. soO's already, you know, happy. He's handled it. No more pressure. He can just forget about that. So yeah, very similar to the last game in terms of what the Banshees did. Of course, soO's setup is very different to the last game as well, though. He's back to what he did on Eternal Empire with that faster lair into the Spire and the Baneling speed instead of the upgrades. So he's going to be on later upgrades this time around, but he will have the initial Baneling speed and Mutalisks to help him with some of the earlier fights instead. The Marines is going to be showing up, stemming in, as we're just going to be seeing the siege tank get siege. The Lings are going to be continuing to run forward here, and Hellions Marines pushing forward as well. We'll pick off this Overlord. A couple of creep tumors going down. 3 drones get picked off as our Queens will sit here. And again, the Hellions taking some damage. A couple of them fallings running through. The Marines will load up into the medevacs, will boost away. And Siege Tank gets picked off as well. So Kua kind of getting cleaned up. So he has a lot of money in the bank. If he could spend that money, he'd be fine. But he's actually not spending his money. He's just starved of lava. So missing some injects. Needs those to pop. And honestly, they're not popping anytime soon. So he's still got money in the bank trying to fight against this. Things get target fired down for the most part here. The Lynx around is limited. And he is going to have Marines left over, which is always scary, especially when you're now 1-1 against 0-0. Just was starved of lava. Didn't have the lava he needed to make this work. And I mean, honestly, actually, the Evo Chambers are very late here too. So he's just going to kind of stem through and win this one out. I mean, this is going to be 1-1 from soO. So heavily delayed. Kua is, in fairness as well, though, not starting as 2-2, but even starting it now, right? And there's still no 1-1 in play from soO, who is not got the gas to start it either. Without the Balins here, that's your advantage, having Balin speed for this attack. And then, you know, if you're just fighting this pure Marines, it's just not going to work out. GG's, and that's going to be Kua taking game 3 of the as we have on the top right-hand side. Our red Terran player, this is Kua. He's obviously up on match point right now in a very dominating game. Which is a bit of a shame because I really felt like soO found his stride in game 2. Felt like he'd picked it up a little bit after a weak game 1. And now it feels we've just kind of reset back to that. So yeah, a little bit of a shame. Game 4 of our best of 5. Gas racks getting started. Hatchery on from this. Hatchery from soO getting started on the natural. I really struggled with some words there. My apologies. As we do have our Overlord making its way around. Again, this is a massive map. Really, really large. Obviously means that Terran pushes, that's the big thing. The Terran push is very difficult to keep going. It's difficult to rally push because of the size of the map. Gives the Zerg a lot of time to get units out and ready to go. So definitely a lot of problems there. It just means you gotta play a bit differently as the Terran, and maybe even we see some mech from Cure. I know mech has been fairly popular on this map for that reason, but it still is a massive map, and we've actually seen the Mutas be quite successful against mech on this map as well. You just kind of use the Mutas as a way to take all of the bases. And when you take all of the bases, obviously you're in a pretty good spot. And the mech can only deny so much, even with the mobility of Hellion Cyclone. As this Reaper pops out, and we'll move across the map. So Reaper comes down to the bottom left, is going to move to the natural. Obviously, this Reaper Ling dance will begin. Of course, the good news is we have Solo waiting in the finals, so if Kira really does just keep on kind of playing how he's been playing and wins this series, he gets the creep team, and that's already a big mental win in the early game. Plus, it's actually nice to deny that 25 energy. Bit of a waste. But yeah, if Kira wins this, we get another TVZ in the finals, which would be pretty cool as well. I can get behind that. Wing speed is building as the grenade goes down. Woohoo! Now he loses the Reaper. Now he loses the Reaper. Pulls this back up through the center. You have a starport then about to finish up from Cure. So getting that completed. Fusion core on the way out as well. Just seeing Ling speed continuing in. And the Reaper and a couple of Hellions will come across this left-hand side. So again, the fusion core going to be ready soon as we have just a couple of queens coming out. So yeah, Battle Cruiser, like I said, it's a pretty good map for mech compared to bio. Mostly because the bio is just bad on this map, and so then generally mech becomes a bit of a better choice. I like this, sends the Reaper in the main. Wants to scout, you know, have a little look to see. Sees link speed is on the way. That's enough for him already, I think, to just say, okay, well, link speed is coming. Just making sure of that, and it's kind of a later link speed, right? So he just wants to double check to make sure link speed hasn't been skipped. There's not like a super fast Lair and like a Roach Roaring coming also, and a Nidus. So Kyo just double checking there's, you know, double checking that certain things aren't kind of missing, basically, and certain things aren't coming. It's also nice he sees no Lair start in the main just yet, and maybe that's a bit of an indicator too that this BC, I mean, this BC should just be able to teleport across anyway. This is actually going to be really nice for Kyo. This is double Evo opener, so not the faster Lair, not the faster Spire. If you go for the faster Spire, you can actually get a couple of openings, or a couple of games where you actually look really, really good against the BC, because the BC is essentially coming across into Spire already completing, anti-air units already being made. As these Hellions pull back into the middle of the map, we see a couple of refineries on the way up. A third CC from Kyo at the front here as well. And Hellions and our Reaper out on the left-hand side. Still moving just a little bit as Kyo will continue to set up. Here's Factory getting going. Just going to pick up Creep Tumor. Just going to be seeing the Queens pushing in as the melee upgrades continue. A couple of Extractors coming out. The Lair building in the main base. BC taking a bit more damage as well. Still gets a Queen. You see the other Queens continuing through as the Hellions got a few extra Zerglings, so a few Lings going down, drones dropping. DC didn't do too much then, just gets pushed away. These Hellions, though, up into the main base and still alive, and this is where the damage is going to be done. From 6 drones killed before this start, we're already at 11, doubling up the damage that the BC and Hellions did until this main base attack begun. He has to 14 kills. Honestly, kind of expected maybe to be a little bit more. The Lings will run in. Hellions and the Reaper do get cleaned up, and 14 drones do go down. And more BCs on the way from Curious. There's going to be a follow-up to this as well, of course. Good damage initially. The thing is, as well, it's not just those drones, right? You also lose 26 Lings that you feel you need to rebuild for safety's sake. And now soO is kind of going to play Ling Bane meter against mech, and this is something which soO kind of popularized, I would say. He's one of the first to do it. He wasn't the only one to do it, though, and Reynolds has been doing this a lot lately with huge success as well. Problem is, starting off from behind is already tough. Then again, you'd much rather lose 14 drones against mech than you would bio, because if this was bio, the next attack would already be hitting you with like 60 Marines, 2 tanks, and stim, and then, well, then you're dead. But in this case, you're in a position where, you know, at least the mech player has to build up quite a lot before they can go again. There's not like one big push. There's just going to be kind of more waves of harassment more than anything, right? It's a good way to look at it. It's just like more waves of harassment, and you usually can deal with harassment even if you're not quite on your fully set up army or anything. So that's where we go as these Hellions and the BC. Down the bottom side, Hellions will morph into the Hellbats right away as the Queens from soO coming in from the left. BC takes a few shots of damage. These Creep is still going down as the Hellions morph into Hellbats. Here, the Hellbat, I mean, this is probably the most aggressive you can be as a follow-up. I actually kind of like it. I love the decision, but there is Lings across the map, so counter-attack damage from soO is adding up. Cyclone's still locked on here. Queen's still taking heavy hits. DC shot going to pick off one of the Queens as well, as we do see the meters now spawn, and obviously there's only so much anti-air here in these Cyclones and the BC. BC will just trade out for a while, though, as the Hellbats coming through. 18 workers went down across the map. So soO not only holds, he holds, losing a lot of Queens, but not losing any drones. He kills the BC. Teleport was late. Oh, soO might be back in this game. Killing the BC is massive because suddenly it means there's so much less anti-air potentially around. Yeah, there's a couple of Thors already, but the Thors are very immobile. Wow. That's pretty sick, honestly. We're going to see Muse just going to dive in for this. He's got Lings to back himself up against the Thors as well. He's losing so many Mutas, though. It's getting dangerous. The SCVs will pull in. Now the Thors are gone. Can he kill this BC? I mean, the SCVs have to be here to repair, which means the Lings will get the kills, and that will do it. That will take us to a game 5. as soO is going to take us 2-2, tie us up. This is really fun because as you go into game 5, I feel like a lot of these best of 5s in the Korean Cup never really go the distance. We see a lot of 3-0s in the Korean Cup and a lot of 3-1s and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, this one really is going quite far. As Q in the bottom right, our Red Terran. Kind of felt like he had a good start there, but overcommitted in with the rest of it. As in the top left, our Blue Zerg is soO from the Afrika Freaks. As we get this up and running. For game number 5. So we begin by, obviously, Overlord's moving out. Q is still not going to go for a proxy racks or anything. In fairness, it's kind of funny, a full best of 5 without a proxy racks. The odds on that are pretty low, I feel. It doesn't happen all the time, for sure. Spawn bull about halfway down from soon the main base. There's hatchery going to be up on the natural in a few moments' time, and the SCV making its way out through the middle. SCV out the front, couple queens, some lings on the way in, command center building on the natural, really kind of what we've seen before. Moment of truth about whether we get to see a double gas again here from Cure, if he's going to go back to that 3cc that served him well in the first couple of games. He's going to go 3cc, not going to build that gas, so going to be quick on the third command center once again, as we have the Reaper is moving around in the center. Factory going to be finishing up. That's the third CC. Building now. Death Aura this map. So the way that Lambo explained this one to me for ZvT is that it gets pretty tough for Zerg in the later game. You know, earlier on it's okay. It's actually pretty good against a lot of the Terrans if they like to rally push or if they're not comfortable in the late game. But against somebody like, you know, well, Q is a great example. Q is very happy to play later game, right? But, you know, Lambo said, for example, against someone like Clem, who's happy to play a lot of bases. He's never been a big 8 racks player, for example. Then it's actually really, really good for the Terran because once you get to 5 bases here as a Zerg, it's already kind of far apart. Or if you go like 4 or 5, like, you're just being dragged all over the map. You know, 4 or 5 bases are very easy to hold for the Terran. And you just don't really have many more bases to then take as the Zerg. And it's very hard to take bases past base 5. And so if you can get to like a 4 or 5 base Terran against a 5 base Zerg, you're generally going to have a good time. If they stay on 5 bases, you just play out. And it takes 10 minutes or so to wear them down. But eventually, they just can't build any extra. Which obviously makes obviously has a big impact how things go. Creep team are at the front, picked off by the Reaper and the 2 Hellions. They will move their way to the right side now as Queens get into position. soO gets there right away to push Kua back into the middle once again. As the Evolution Chamber is building, make that 2. So soO is still going for this double upgrade style. Obviously, he's mixed in the faster lair twice in the series, but back to double upgrades for the deciding map. As the Overlord goes down, Viking and the Marine making short work of that. Orbital Command will lift off, go down to the low ground here. Still seeing the 2 Hellions and the Reaper in the middle, as we do have an Overlord parked up over here as well. I like it, right? Watching reinforcements in this kind of direction. Just good vision around the map here from soO. Nothing across to really be too frustrating past that one Overlord that did die. I mean, this Vikings actually going to have a tough time finding this Overlord as well, right? Because it's not really in a very common spot. So, yeah, Vikings kind of moving around. You can see he's not really rallied to go back there at all. So, this is working. So important to note that Kura only built 4 Hellions. That means his extra racks are a little bit faster. You can see he's going to have a pretty quick initial drop with the 2 medevacs now on the way. So that's going to hit around 6 minutes or so. And that's just the benefit of having gone for these extra racks a little faster. It does mean you're lower on the Hellion count. If you're lower on the Hellion count, then you are in a position where you're a little bit riskier if you get link flooded or certain attacks. It means you don't get to dive by with the Hellions or be a threat with those as much either. Comes through, gets a Creep Teamer on the front lines, makes that the second one. Still 1-1 upgrades coming through, combat shields building in the main base, and again, a couple of Hellions and a Reaper out to the far left side. Viking's still just kind of watching here, waiting to see if anything ends up flying out of the main base. I don't mind it. It kind of works, right? As these medevacs, they're finally going to see this Overlord here, but it means the Overlord also sees the medevac, so you kind of know where this is. For a moment, he's like, ooh, I should come clean this up. Then he's like, no, I should make most of the fact I just got Sim and I've got an advantage right now. 5 Bane's about to be done. Obviously, Bane speed is way off. 1-1 melee isn't far away, though, but it's not here yet, so the advantage that soO's playing for, not currently in the game. There's our Viking coming around, and we'll find the Overlord. Which is kind of a bad time for soO. He's already going to be supply blocked. He is supply blocked now, so he would be put back into supply block a little bit. He did start extra Overlords, though, but yeah, already supply blocked, already hurting. Yeah, he actually gets supply blocked before he can take advantage of that first Overlord finishing. Now, a lot of OVs on the way. Marines, though, I think are not in good enough numbers. There wasn't like a reinforcement wave of this, so Billings get there. 1-1 upgrades especially make quite a big difference in that. And that's just a fight you can't really continue to take as Kura. So rightfully lifts up, backs off. What's his plan off of these bases? I mean, he goes up to 5 racks now. So the real question is, do we see, it's what's the next real tech structure? Is it a second factory, a 4th base, or 3 more racks? Right? That's basically the plan. Oh, well, that's basically like the 3 options, I suppose, is tries to harass here. Viking gets turned away from the main. Ling run by straight into the natural. Gonna go through for a few SCVs already. A few of these Marines being picked away at, and oh, this is bad. There's gonna be a lot of SCVs going down in this main and natural here. And this is obviously something you've got to go on. Oh my god, he's gonna start losing siege tanks and all sorts. He's losing a lot of reinforcements with this. And a lot of workers as well. This push suddenly has to do so much across the map. 14 SCVs, siege tanks, and Marines taken down. Well, what does that push do? Bane speed is done. As the Banes come forward, splits away well in the last few Marines, but that's not the kind of remaining Marines that look like they're going to clean up. And another round of Zerg, as another round of Zerg actually hits the front here. Marines are cleaning up on the ramp, though, so this is a bit of a better hold against the run-by than last time. Still has to evacuate the 3rd base, and now the Marine count's going to get a bit too low. Just at the end here, we actually saw as well, we didn't see, but this happens across the map, so apparently it's just a bit too much. It's not really anything spectacular here, right? He's just sat here, gonna start taking the fight. He's gonna get overrun, and you're losing out here, right? The meters show up. You overrun here, you overrun here. GG's, and that's how soO is gonna win this series 3-2 to win this out and go to the